Imagine this. You are Bon Jovi and sitting with the crowd watching a Super Bowl game. And NFL's TV producers frantically come to you, pleading you to perform the national anthem in 10 minutes, with no rehearsals or preparation done for it. This situation almost played out at Super Bowl 27 back in 1993, when Garth Brooks, the biggest star in country music back then, went toe-to-toe with the mighty NFL in a showdown for the ages and nearly walked out just before his national anthem performance. This Super Bowl wasn't just about touchdowns and tackles, and it was about a song and a singer who wouldn't compromise on his demands. But that's just half the story, and it forced the top bosses at NFL and NBC, the broadcaster, to make a major change in their Super Bowl plans.
Here's a quick look at his latest music video, first time ever on television, We Shall Be Free, Garth Brooks.
But it's important to know what happened before the incident and what really led to it. America was going through some turbulent times. Just months before the Super Bowl, the Rodney King verdict and the LA riots had ripped open the scars of racial tension in America. People were angry, scared, and looking for answers. There were a series of riots and civil disturbances that occurred in Los Angeles County during April and May 1992. Unrest began in South Central Los Angeles on April 29th after a jury acquitted 4 officers of the Los Angeles Police Department charged with using excessive force in the arrest and beating of Rodney King.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Lawrence M. Powell, not guilty of the crime of assault by force likely to produce great bodily injury and with a deadly weapon.
The incident had been videotaped by George Holliday, who was a bystander to the incident and was heavily broadcast in various news and media outlets.
First of all, I was thinking about him, what could he have done to deserve that? I didn't see the very beginning of it. I thought maybe he tried to hit a policeman or something.
People were shocked and angry when they saw the video, and they felt like the police had gotten away with something terrible. For 6 days, people took to the streets to protest. The protests turned into riots, with people looting stores, setting fires, and fighting with the police. It was a very dangerous time, and everyone in Los Angeles was scared. It took 10,000 soldiers and police officers to finally stop the riots. By the time it was over, 63 people were dead, thousands were injured, and billions of dollars of damage had been done. The LA riots were a turning point in American history. They showed how much anger and frustration can build up when people feel like they're not being treated fairly. They also showed how important it is for police officers to be held accountable for their actions. Even though the riots were a dark time for Los Angeles, they also led to some positive changes. People started talking more openly about racism and police brutality, and there were efforts to improve relations between the police and the community. And that's where Garth Brooks comes in. Before we dive into the mudslide, let's set the scene. Garth Brooks in 1993 wasn't just popular. He was a juggernaut. Think Elvis-level fame, but with cowboy boots and a mullet. And he'd taken country music, ripped it off the dusty back roads, and slapped it right onto the front pages of every newspaper. Some loved him, some hated him, but everyone knew who Friends in Low Places was hanging out with. He broke records, sold out stadiums, and became a household name. But even with all that success, not everyone was a fan. To some, especially older generations, Garth wasn't the true face of country. They saw him as more of a pop singer with a cowboy hat. His music, with its slick production and catchy melodies, felt different from the traditional twang of classic country. These purists felt like Garth was diluting the genre, bringing in outsiders and changing what country music was all about. They preferred the grittier, rawer sound of their youth and disliked the showbiz elements Garth brought to the scene. Garth's larger-than-life personality and flashy stage shows didn't help matters. Some saw it as arrogant and attention-seeking, a far cry from the humble storytelling of traditional country singers. So how did all this lead up to the chaos at Super Bowl 27? The night the riots hit, he watched it all on TV while on the bus leaving L.A. He said, as you drove out of L.A., you could see the buildings on fire. It was pretty scary for all of us, especially a bunch of guys from Oklahoma. This is intense out here. Clearly moved by the incident, he wrote the song "We Shall Be Free," what he called was his most controversial song back then. It reached 12 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles and Tracks in 1992, becoming his first single to miss the top 10 on that chart due to an airplay ban from some radio stations. The NFL broadcasters had a bigger issue with the music video than the song itself. Along with many celebrity cameos, the video featured footage of riots, the Klan, wars, bombing, flag burnings, and more. Obviously, Garth wasn't condoning these activities. They were there as illustrations, but many found the video triggering and in poor taste, and that's how the showdown started. Now, imagine this. You're Garth Brooks, megastar balladeer, and you get tapped to sing the national anthem at the biggest sporting event on the planet. But you have this song, "We Shall Be Free," a powerful plea for unity and tolerance, inspired by the very unrest gripping the nation. You know it needs to be heard, but the Super Bowl isn't exactly known for pushing social boundaries. From whatever I could dig up, there was no contract or agreement to either perform "We Shall Be Free" as part of the 1993 Super Bowl presentation, nor were there any plans to broadcast the song's video. This was the biggest television audience in the world. The last thing they wanted to do was air something controversial. But Garth Brooks had other plans. Fast forward to Super Bowl Sunday. Garth shows up, mic in hand, but throws down a bombshell. He won't sing unless they play his music video alongside the national anthem. This video, mind you, is full of hard-hitting imagery like flag burnings and cross-Klan rallies. The suits at the NFL and NBC are gasping for air. They scramble, beg, plead, but Garth ain't budging. He walks out, leaving the whole shebang hanging in the balance. And then chaos. John Bon Jovi gets prepped as a last-minute replacement. The F-18 flyover pilots are sweating cold, and millions of viewers are wondering if they'll just hear dead air. In the end, the unthinkable happens. The NFL caves. They delay the kickoff, play Garth's video, and he returns to belt out the Star-Spangled Banner. Talk about a Hail Mary pass. So, what was the aftermath? Well, for starters, Garth got his message out, though maybe not with the nuance he'd hoped for. But more importantly, the national anthem at the Super Bowl changed forever. Don Weiss, a bigwig at the NFL, spills the beans in his book. He reveals that after the Brooks showdown, the league got spooked. Live performances became a thing of the past, replaced by pre-recorded tracks and often good old lip-syncing. So, while Garth Brooks won his battle for artistic freedom, music fans lost something precious, the raw emotion and unpredictable magic of live singing. Back in 1991, Whitney Houston delivered what many called the perfect Super Bowl anthem. Her voice soared, her emotion palpable. Then came the bombshell. She had lip-synced. While some were disappointed, the performance remained iconic. And fast forward to 2009. Jennifer Hudson, still grieving the tragic loss of her family, gave a moving rendition of the anthem. It tugged at heartstrings, felt raw and real. But again, the truth emerged. She lip-synced, partly due to a new NFL rule. Some say it sanitized the performance. Others argue it eliminated potential disasters. As for Garth, he remains an enigma, a man who craves the spotlight but uses it to shine on uncomfortable truths. A country music titan whose biggest hits sometimes come with strings attached. So, the next time you hear the national anthem at the Super Bowl or catch a glimpse of Garth Brooks belting out a ballad, remember this story. And maybe, just maybe, ask yourself, what would you do if you were standing in those cowboy boots? Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed watching the video.